How you guys doing? I'm back with another video, and as you see from the title, you know exactly what kind of video this is. So let's get started. So as you know, winter is almost going away, but I haven't made the video yet for winter colognes yet. So you know the drill. 3 different winter colognes and 3 different price points. All right. Fairly simple, but I'm not gonna include the very popular winter colognes. I'm sure you've seen videos on that already. Colognes such as like Spice Bomb Extreme, Blue de Chanel, Dior Sauvage, some of the Tom Fords, etc. I'm sure you've heard those videos already, and those colognes have already been described that and told you why it's good. So I'm gonna give you a couple different ones and give you some of my personal favorites in each category, and hopefully it's one you've not heard of. You can try to smell it out, see how you like it compared to the other ones you already know of. Alright, so let's get started. So I've decided to rename the categories on my 3 tier list, okay? So at the cheap level, we have the budget. Budget is kind of like 25, 30 under, and it'll kind of handle if you're like going to college, you don't have a job, just don't want to smell good. This is going to be that kind of budget you're looking for. It's going to be safe, inoffensive, and it won't be maybe not long lasting, but you'll still smell good. Maybe you might need some extra sprays, etc. Then we have the mid-tier cologne, which usually is the best bang for a buck, so I'm calling this the all reliable. So this cologne is not too expensive, not too cheap, kind of just in the middle of the pack. This is where you get your most popular colognes, you get your Blue de Chanels, you get your Spice Bomb Extremes, your Tom Fords, all the ones you've heard people talk about and YouTubers talk about. This is where they're going to be, but I'm going to give you one you may not have heard of. So that's going to be what all reliable is, and it's called all reliable because it's kind of what everyone chooses to go towards instead of going too cheap and too rich. And then finally, the third tier is going to be niche, which is the most expensive. You probably haven't heard too much of these, and even if you have, you're probably going to have a tough time trying to smell it before you buy it, because it's very hard to find it in stores, because most stores don't carry it because it is very expensive. So you won't get any discounters for this stuff. You have to buy it from retail, and most likely from the website itself, and not like places such as Macy's and stuff. All right, but let's get started. So for budget, I have Cremo Spice and Black Vanilla. Now this cologne clocks in at about $20 on Amazon. This is actually a dupe of Spice Bomb Extreme, which is known as like the best winter cologne in the YouTube area. It's a dupe of that. It's a lot cheaper, and in my personal opinion, it actually smells a bit better, especially for the price point it gives. So this was released in 2017, and as you can tell from the brand Cremo, they're a very like barbershop kind of men's grooming kind of brand, so it does smell a lot like a barbershop. You get like a spicy woody smell. I personally don't have it myself. I'll tell you why in a bit, but it's a very woody, spicy kind of smell at the barbershop. You get top notes of cardamom, a mid of wood, and a base of vanilla bourbon. In my personal opinion, from what I've smelled in the past at stores, the opening is pretty sweet compared to Spice Bomb Extreme. Actually, like Spice Bomb, it's a bit more spicy at the beginning, where this one's a bit more sweet, so it kind of just adds to that. But you get that cardamom instantly with the smell, and it kind of lasts throughout the longevity of the whole cologne, but the vanilla kind of fades towards the back after a while. This is actually one of the better dupes in my opinion that have been released. It's up there with the Club de Nuit Armaf, with Great Aventus, and this one's, I would say, close to top 5 dupes of all time, because I would have never expected Cremo especially to come up with this kind of dupe, because Cremo, you wouldn't really think a barbershop kind of brand would come up with a dupe this good for one of the best colognes that have ever been made. It smells a lot smoother in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of Spice Bomb Extreme personally. It's a bit too spicy for me. But this one, it's a bit less spicy, a bit sweeter. And I think it kind of balances a bit better. It makes it more smoother in my opinion. And for the price point, it's a no-brainer for me. I do plan on getting it this year, but I haven't got it yet. So it's on my to-buy list for the year. I'd give this cologne, for the price point, I give it a strong 9.5 out of 10. But overall, it's a good like 7.8, 7.9 out of 10, which is still pretty good. Next up, for all reliable, we have Dior Homme Intense. Let me go grab that.
Two hours later.
Dior Homme Intense. So, as you can see, a very nice bottle. The cap is a bit kind of like hard to open, but it just smells so good. The vanilla on it is like phenomenal. Like, it's a one of a kind scent in my opinion. It's very unique. No dupes on this yet from what I know, and for the price point, I think it's what, like 90. You can get it at discounts for like $90 right now. And it's a very good scent, and I have the 1.7 ounce bottle, and this is my winter fragrance that I use at home currently. Very nice. But overall, for wintertime, in my opinion, you just have to have a Dior scent. It's just meant to be, whether it's Dior Sauvage, Dior Elixir, Homme Intense, whatever it is. I think you need to have a Dior cologne for the wintertime, and this is currently mine. This was released in 2011, but they have been reformulated a couple times. Like, Dior overall has reformulated their colognes quite often, with all their kind of colognes. And the last time this got reformulated was around 2020, and it kind of gave it a bit more of a woody scent, which made it a bit stronger per se. But the base, I feel like it made it last longer as well. So it stays on the skin about an hour or two extra, in my opinion, from what I've seen. It's a very warm and inviting scent overall. I'd recommend using this for dates, etc. It's great on dates. This is actually what I use when I take my girlfriend out. I sprayed a bit of this on myself. It's a great smell. But you do get a top notes of lavender, the mid being iris, and you get a base of like vetiver and cedar. Anytime there's just like a cedar sandalwood kind of base, the cologne does last a bit longer. And for winter fragrances specifically, colognes usually need to last a bit longer and need to be some kind of spicy, because during the cold time, the sweetness, if it's not really sweet or really spicy, you won't be able to smell that kind of aroma and the production that comes from the cologne itself when you spray it on your skin. So in my personal opinion, this is my most favorite Dior cologne over Sauvage, over Elixir. My personal opinion, one of my favorites. It's why I bought it. It just smells so good. The vanilla really pops out in the opening, and I just love it. Personally, I would give this cologne like a 9.3 out of 10. Now for the niche cologne, we have a big price jump. We went from Cremo being about $20 on Amazon to Intense being around 110. And then for a niche, we have Creed Royal Oud, which around retail per se, you would get it for about $550, $570 from what I've seen. I personally do not have it, because I like this so much. I saw no need to get it, but it's a fantastic smell. It's one of the better Creed colognes in my opinion, between Aventus and Royal Oud. Royal Oud I do prefer over, because Aventus, there's so many different clones. I prefer the clones over Aventus. But for Royal Oud, it's a very it's a clone I would buy. It's very for business, or if you're trying to dress a bit smart, dress up a bit, button down. Very nice. You smell sharp, you smell clean, you smell fantastic. It combines a woody scent with sweet notes to almost make it like an elegant, sophisticated, and a mature scent, which adds to the appeal of the cologne in my opinion. And when I did smell it at the store recently, it smelled fantastic. It does have a really strong opening in the fragrance, but it does melt nicely into the skin, creating a nice little transition into the dry down, which I like very much. Personally, if it doesn't transition as good from the opening to the dry down, I personally wouldn't buy it, because most of the time people do smell a dry down compared to the opening of the smell. And if the transition is a bit weird, it can mess with the dry down a bit, making the cologne smell a bit like confused or funky. You get top notes of like lemon, peppers, mid of cedar, and you get the base notes of oud and sandalwood. So oud is a bit of more, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a bit more of like the oomph of a cologne, giving it that like oil perfumery, which makes it last a bit longer. Oud and the sandalwood mixed together gives it a strong longevity on it. The cologne lasts about 10-12 hours, and I have seen no complaints about it, so I assume it's pretty accurate. The cologne did get launched in 2011, and ever since then it's kind of been a hot favorite and one of the popular colognes in the Creed line, and it's one of my personal favorites even though I don't have it. For the price point, I'd give it about 9.2 out of 10, but then again, I don't have it right now. Overall, I'd only buy it if you're do a bunch of office work, you go to work all the time. This would be my recommended work fragrance because I do like it a lot. But I'd give it overall like a 8.8 out of 10 per se. But now the question is, out of these 3 price points, which one would I choose? And you'll be surprised to know I would probably pick Royal Oud just because I feel like I'd use it more than Dior Homme Intense. Don't get me wrong, the Cremo fragrance is very good, but I don't see the appeal of it personally. I'd rather wear this one because I love it a lot so much, and Royal Oud, I do want to get that in the future because I do think it's just a better cologne overall than Cremo and Dior Homme Intense. And I do think that price is justified, which is very rare to hear me say. And maybe I'll buy it this year, who knows? We'll have to see and find out. But yeah, I hope these colognes I mentioned is something new to you guys. Hopefully you haven't heard of these colognes yet and you didn't know what they would smell like, and help your decision making with deciding which cologne you would get in the wintertime. If you like this video, please let me know and subscribe, turn on post notifications, and hit the like button. And I'll see you next time with another video. See y'all later.